Hello and welcome, fellow citizens of the world. My name is Crystal Tottenham from Crystal Clear Coaching, coming to you from my friend's lovely apartment today. It is about a million times better than the last place I was staying, which was a hostel. And I'm very grateful to be here. She's actually away right now, so I have it to myself as well. So, yeah, gotten bougie for the foreseeable future. Slash 8 days. I do have a house sit coming up soon, but I've got a little bit of time to fill in between there, so we'll figure that out as it comes. But just grateful to be in my own space for even just for 8 days is bloody brilliant. I have a little bit of a sniffly thing going on, so I'm glad I didn't have to bring that to the people at the hostel. And I happen to have a couple of days off, so that's good. So my friend loves lots of beautiful art, which I do too, so big fan of that. Way better vibes over up in here. And I was just thinking about, what if our main goal in life? Our main goal in life was to just be the purest version of ourselves. The version of us that, that lit us up as a kid, lit us up when we were younger. Like, not necessarily just as, between, 0 to 10, but, even as a teenager, learning to be, and learning to, even in your 20s, the things that lit you up in your youth when they were new to you, and they excited you, and you followed that for a while, and then maybe you put it down, or maybe you still pick it up occasionally, but it's become like this chore, something that feels like you have to do it to be productive or whatever, and it's not coming from that pure, true place anymore. So, yeah, what would happen if we actually chose to find ways to cultivate that being our priority in life, is to wake up and choose the purest version of you and what you would do that day. I know there's a lot of things, in day-to-day with having a neurodivergent brain, that I struggle with. I struggle to, feed myself in a timely manner and, move my body, and I enjoy it when I'm doing it, or with exercise more having done it, unless it's yoga, which I actually enjoy and need to get back into. But the pure part of me, the part that, gets me in the zone, gets me excited, gets me feeling alive again, those are the nudges of what is pure and true to us. It's when I am coaching someone and I can see the next questions that they need to be asked that they haven't maybe ever asked themselves before, and it's the one thing that could bring to conscious light a subconscious pattern that has just been in their way of what they truly want, from that pure place, for a long time. Or sometimes it's that their goal is not coming from that pure place, and this is actually what brings that to light. It's not actually what they need to go for, and they can just put it down and choose better feeling thoughts and then actions. And there's so much to just considering. I just saw a dragonfly outside. I've had 3 come in the house today. So good. They're just everywhere over here, but I've never had them come in the house. And 3 in one day. Wild. Anyway, there's something to be said for, what if our priority in life wasn't creating resources, aka money? Money is just a resource. What if it was actually doing the pure things that lit us up? And maybe we're just missing a couple of steps in our patterns, in our thought patterns, in our action patterns. We're missing a couple of steps that are actually going to connect us to the thing that we actually desire, not the money that's supposed to get us there. Because it's not the... So I watched this YouTube video today, and she was talking about how it's not the love of money. We don't love money. I mean, some people do, like, you know, rappers with the money flowing from their music videos. But, like, money's just a resource to get you to things that you want. And even then, like, the things that you want are just, in a way, the resource to get you what you want to feel. And if you can find ways to feel that way in this moment, you know, even if it makes you having to feel Delulu until it's Trululu, then you could just make that feeling happen right now. And I've known this for a while, and yet I know it's not that simple, because or maybe it is that simple and we just like to complicate it. Because the amount that I put off tuning in, meditating with myself, even though I really enjoy it when I'm doing it, it's kind of crazy. But also, it's like, I've always been a bit of a space cadet. I've always loved fantasy stories, and I love just kind of closing down my eyes and thinking, like, what could happen? Like, that lights me up. So it's kind of crazy that I put off doing even that, you know? But, like, we can't create something that we haven't yet thought about. The thought is, like, where it starts. But if we don't follow that thought train, then we are unlikely to be able to see where it leads us, you know? Yeah. I never know quite what I'm going to say when I come on here. I usually have an idea or a concept, and then I just see what comes out. And I think this is something I have put off doing, like showing up on video and putting it online, because I felt like I needed to have a full-on structure. I had to make it all polished, coming from a film and TV background, like feeling like everything needs to be super polished, because I'm one of hundreds of people on the crew that helps everything look exactly how we want it to. Me focusing usually on the costumes as a part of a big team of people focusing on the costumes. And to actually let go and just let whatever happens happen, and just whatever I say come out. I know there's going to be videos that aren't as exciting to listen to, but I also know I've done so much time learning through my coaching course. I've done it 3 times. All the things I learned through that is enough to be able to talk about for probably years, showing up relatively frequently on YouTube. I could talk about it for years. That's how in depth I went. And on top of that I'm a complete book nerd and growth junkie, and also love film and TV and movies and music, and am kind of a little bit obsessive about these things, to the point that I can break down things about a song that, you know, came out 20 years ago, and then like name all the band members and name the exact song and, you know, the time frame of it all. You know, a lot of the time. It's kind of wild. I know that my unique journey in alchemy is somehow going to speak to the world. And if I'm just speaking to myself at first, that's okay. I would prefer to show up raw and authentic, and not inviting AI, actually nurturing creative human beings. I wish I knew who these were by. This is actually on its side right now. But yeah, like my friend has beautiful art in her world and crystals. I mean, hello. So, you know, like, I want to nurture creativity and beauty and realness and pureness, I guess I could say. And I don't mean that if you're come from like a religious background and being pure has a completely different connotation. That is not what I'm talking about. I am not someone who has come from a religious background. Not that I don't respect everyone's thoughts and feelings and values and opinions on things. I just think you get to choose what feels right for you, and that's great. And I personally don't resonate with that, and that's okay. I can still believe in you as your own pure sovereign soul doing what is pure and true to you. So purity again, this just sounds like purity rings and harkens back to the Jonas Brothers and their purity rings, which wasn't even true. They didn't actually make that pact, really. Anyway, that's a whole side story, not important right now. But yeah, what is pure for you? Pure in a way that it's just completely what lights you up, what embodies you, what has you embody aliveness, I guess you could say, without feeling any icky feelings about it. And I'm not saying there aren't certain things you have to do to serve in that pure way, to show up in that pure way, that don't feel great, like maybe getting up out of bed to actually do the creating doesn't feel so great, until you're actually creating, and then you're like, fuck yeah, this is awesome, totally worth being up, the coffee's kicking in, like, yay. But yeah, how can we choose to be pure? I'm actually just realizing that my wonderful coach that taught me all these coaching tools, for about 20 years she ran a health club that was called Pure. So she gets it. Having your like knowing what's pure and true for you. Like, I don't think this is talked about enough. Like, yeah, like we're so conditioned to strive after the things, the materialistic things that we're supposed to want and need. And a lot of the time that is something like money, and there's so many people that just don't realize it's just a resource. It's a useful resource and one that speaks to most people. It is used by most people, but yeah, just really think about what is it that you actually want. So I wish I could tell you the name of that YouTube person that showed up today. I think it was Energy or something like that. She shared, like, and it was just a video that came out like in the past 24 hours or so. And she just shared that, you know, you don't want money, and like, I'm just like, that's so true. I don't want money. When I get money, I do give it away pretty fast, because usually I need to pay things back, or I just haven't got that much of it coming in, and then, you know, life costs money. But what I really want is a beautiful space where I feel safe to nurture my creativity and somewhere to lay my head. I've really missed that the past few weeks, past few months really. It's been elements of stronger moments where I felt definitely more connected and in tune with the place. Like, usually while I was house sitting, it was a lot more comfortable, but hosteling not so much. And then to, you know, lose a loved one like I have with my grandma, my dear Grimmin, you know, in the past couple of weeks, whilst just having no actual solid place to lay my head and no solid person to be around. It's really hard. It's such a beautiful thing to have a safe space to lay your head. And not everyone has that. And actually, like, just staying in this hostel that I just stayed in, it was on the cheaper end of things. So there were some people there that had experienced homelessness, and I don't pretend to know how their life's been or what had led them to that. But, you know, I felt a little bit nervous that I wouldn't have a roof over my head in the past couple of months, because my money's been running out, and my work hasn't quite been giving me the shifts I was hoping to get, and it took me about 3 months to even get that job rolling. and you know, I moved over here scrappily, like selling my car to get here. So it's 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 hard, and I knew I would, you know, have to be scrappy about it, and I have been scrappy. Um, but yeah, it's really hard to get hard news and be away from your family when you're not in a good secure space to lay your head, to have a good cry alone if you need to, you know, to have a big hug from your family. Um, and in ways, I've also had my grandma showing up for me a lot since she passed. Um, first, well, I mean, it wasn't me specifically, but my family had shared that before she passed. She was resonating with a native New Zealand bird called a tui. And she said, yeah, I'll show you signs through tuis when I pass. And I thought that was beautiful in itself. And then the day she passed, the 24 hours since, a lot of my family saw tuis around. There was just lots of tuis around in ways that they usually aren't. And being in Australia, there's not native tuis hanging around. And I did think, well, it would be a total miracle for a tui to be shown to me, wouldn't it? And I last night got into my friend's place and was sorting out washing because it's been a couple of weeks since I've managed to do any washing. And one of the bags that I like keep my laundry in, just like a shopping bag from New World, which is a supermarket in New Zealand, I touched it so many times in the past like week and a bit since she passed, had not seen what was on it. You want to guess what was on it? Tui's. So she was with me the whole time. So naturally I burst into tears then to know I had a safe space where I could just feel held for a week and see her support there. And then these dragonflies coming in today, and not to mention this beautiful blue butterfly that came around me. Her colour is definitely blue, and I don't think I've ever seen a blue butterfly in the wild before. I mean, to be honest, this was kind of like in a building area, because we don't have them in New Zealand. And this beautiful butterfly came and was hanging around me just when I was talking with my mum on the phone about how I'm sad and it's hard being away and not knowing if I'd make it back for the memorial, which I have since decided I'm not going to, because it's not worth the money and I can support online in ways, and it's all fine, it's okay, it's just not my priority right now, and I know that my grandma would support that, it's fine. But yeah, for that butterfly to show up during that conversation was so beautiful. And then I mean, my mum had also shared a couple of days before that my granddad, who passed 18 to 19 years ago, spoke to her through butterflies, and for it to be a blue butterfly in that moment, I just felt like both my maternal grandparents were supporting me, even though I never knew them together. They were in different relationships when I was a kid, and but they were still such important parts of my journey, and I know they continue to be. So yeah, this really took a turn, but I mean that's, you know what, actually I just realised in my little post for my grandma, I was trying to put into words how it felt to have her as such a loving, kind, wonderful matriarch. And I just realised it was pure love that she was. Just pure love. And that's such a beautiful thing to have been given, to still be given my whole life through my family. And I'm really gonna miss her, but also she's here with me still. And she was in a lot of pain, so it was time. It was time. So I'm really happy that she's no longer in pain. And now she gets to play tricks on us, so... yeah, anyway, so here's to pure love and being there for those ones around you in whatever way calls to you. And I know, so this is flow posting, I think day 18 at this point. I forgot to mention that at the start. It's really been about tuning in to you and what's going on for you. And at the moment, what's going on for me is a lot. But, you know, it's part of life. I don't want to fear death. It's going to happen to us all one day. And I just think we are connected and we are a bigger part of the whole. We're just all connected, and I think this life experience is honestly just seeing ourselves separately enough and having a different perspective to the point that when we return to the light, we understand just how light and how beautiful our light is. So yeah, that 100% pure light, still not actually lit me up. That's something that, you know, I don't think we can easily reach as humans on this plane. But I aspire to reach for aliveness and find pureness as often as I can. I hope you do the same. Anyway, I think this is my longest message to date. And part of me was about to apologise for being emotional. But you know what? The first 3 letters of my name are cry, and I've always said, let it out. Like, I'd much prefer people to cry and let it out than bottle it up, and then that emotion sits stored in your body and just stays stuck and stagnant and holds you back. So let it out and you'll feel better, and that pure love, it, like, without, if you don't, grief wouldn't exist if there wasn't love, you know, like that pure, like, grief is love just speaking to us from a different side, a different perspective. And I'm grateful for all the love that I got that has led to this grief. But also there's a beauty in the next journey. And I'm still discovering what that is. But yeah, if you're going through any grieving right now, just remember that it's there because there was so much love in the first place. Whether it was grief for someone that's passed on, or grief for a relationship that had to end, whether the grief was that the relationship was no longer what you thought it was, and it maybe wasn't on the other side coming from a place of pure love, it's still beautiful to know that you loved so much that you believed that it was something better at one point in time. And it's still beautiful to realise that you have that love still in you to give to someone that actually will reciprocate it in a true and wonderful way. So, yeah. Hope that makes sense. I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you soon.